keep things at this point? You still got a couple weeks before a game. How do you keep things fresh? How do you keep things, so guys don't get stale and continue to get the work done?
Yeah, I mean, each year is its own. We changing drills up a little bit, changing tempos up a little bit, changing personnels up, put people in positions where they're maybe not expected to get reps and see what they know. You gotta be creative, whether it's meetings, practice, lifting. You don't want to do the same thing every day. But you got to be better at the basics than you were the day before. So it is a challenge. It's always a challenge every year. But I think our guys have done a pretty good job today. They're gone are the days of 10 double days in a row full pads. And so that change up in and of itself allows these guys to lock in a little bit more mentally, be a little bit more focused when they approach the field and practice in the morning. And every about 4 days, full pads. Asking those guys to bring some juice too, so it's a two-way street. Those guys got to bring their lunch pail packed, and we got to bring some energy along the way as coach and change things up. But it's not easy, never easy. But each team kind of has its own identity as far as trying to get the most out of them. When you're 14 practices in.
The fact that the rules have changed and you don't have the double days, you don't have pads all the time. So now, can you ask more from your guys in that shorter time? Can you say, hey, I need a little quicker pace so we can learn the things we need to learn?
Yeah, we practice at a pretty quick pace. And, for those that haven't been around our program, they come in and go, whoa, boy, you're going from drill to drill to drill to drill. We truly don't say practice like we want to play. We try to simulate that from drill work to unit work to teamwork to special teams work. So, yes and no. It allows you to probably the dog days are gone now of having 10 double days in a row, knowing about day 4 or 5. All you're doing is you're a zombie going through the motions. So, but it is a protective measure. Health and safety is number one. That's also kind of getting mentally fresh for the next day as well. Coming off that 2-hour non-physical day yesterday, you always are expecting a little bit more, knowing you took a day off physically. Today we didn't get as much out of the practice as I think we anticipated, but you're going to have those days. When you start putting 2 or 3 of those days together, that makes coaches wonder, that makes captains wonder, what do we need to do to continue to go? So we took a step forward, but I would have liked to take 2 or 3 today. So it is what it is. We'll come back tomorrow numbers, and we'll be 2 weeks away from Gamecock tomorrow. We're in 2 days.
What do you want to see before the first scrimmage?
Health. We had a couple guys, just small things today. First scrimmage will be Sunday. It's a little bit later than normal. We want to get a little bit more of our install in. So about 85-90% install in to allow coaches on both sides, players on both sides to be able to practice those things for a good portion of 2.5 weeks to then be able to do that in a scrimmage setting. Earlier you scrimmage, the less you have in. We have enough old guys, so we're trying to push the envelope a little bit, not just in base choice down situations, but red zone, third down, special situations. So we've got some really good live work up to this point in pockets of practice, but I'm looking for health, looking for fast pace, urgency, and just some consistency on both sides. When you're a head coach, you root for both because you want both to be consistent. And obviously, when you start playing a different opponent, then it's a little bit different. Where you can focus on one side at a time because you're playing an opponent. So all in all, I think it's been very solid up to this point. But Sunday will be a big day for the entire club. They'll come back on Wednesday with some guys that haven't had as much experience in scrimmaging again. 3 days later.
You said you wanted to see like another step out here today. When it comes to moving from the practice field out to the red, is that something that you kind of normally expect when you get on actual, were you guys playing out here?
Yeah, I mean, from a coach that practice every day, you expect a little bit more always. We've been out here for a few days now. We've done our walkthroughs out of the red. You always expect a little bit of out there. The space on the grass is nice, and then all of a sudden you condense the space with the same amount of heartbeats. It becomes a little bit tighter. You got to be a little bit more creative. But you're 2 weeks in a camp with a week of camp to go per se, and then a week of prep to go. So you're in the thick of it. You're in the middle of it, and all our guys give great energy, give a great focus. But it wasn't our best today, but you're not going to have your best every day.
When you start putting things in for the game, you started that a little bit, and some coaches don't want to put it in too early. Some coaches want to get everything in early and then work on it. Where are you on that?
Well, I think we're not we're not gearing towards Monmouth, but a lot of the stuff we run base-wise and install is 1 through 12 is going to be employed against Monmouth in some way, shape, or form. Might be a different motion, might be a different personnel, might be a different formation, but we won't turn that page probably until after Wednesday, truthfully. And I've always said, Dennis, you get a week to prepare for every other opponent outside of a bye week opponent. Why would you take 2 weeks to prepare for one? So, but we got a ton of learning to do. Our coordinator on defense is the first-year coordinator, so I want to make folks, our guys, this camp, this mission, with some newness and some of the schemes we're going to do defensively. So, not get too out front of our skis in that regard, but probably turn the page by Wednesday, Thursday next week, and truly start honing in on after campus game.
You like where you are with your progress? I know you said today wasn't exactly great, but you like where you've been able to do so far in camp as you kind of get to the halfway point?
Yeah, I really do. A ton of leadership. You always want more. You always want more as a coach. You always expect more. But if we can bounce back and take the learnings and the media we're playing tomorrow, and not continue to make the same mistakes over and over. I'd love to say not make the same mistake again, but we all know that's going to happen. That's why we practice 6 times a week or 5 times a week before we play a game. So we take a ton of reps. They're not going to be perfect. You're playing with different people, different situations, but all these guys have done a very good job. We taught transition 2 weeks ago from summer to the start of fall camp, which was darn near seamless. So we're way further ahead than not we expected to be, but a bit more seamless than most years. Whether the season we're ahead.
I'm good.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Hey.